Hey y'all, Fat Man Outdoors. I want to do a video for you here this morning. You've seen me shooting the Turkey Terminator 2000 with X Sight scope on it. I wanted to try real quick to do a video about the scope a little bit and show you what it's about and how it works. So let's get right to it, so I won't keep you no longer than I have to. Okay, the scope is the X Sight 4K Pro. It's a 5 to 20 power zoom. The scope comes with a lot of features. As you can see over here, it has ultra HD sensors. This thing like really picks picture up really well. Probably films better than my handheld camera, to be honest. It records in 1080p at 120 frames per second, and it has smart HD optics. What that means is you have a focal point on the front of the scope that you can adjust, and you have a focal point in the back, and it'll also make up for light ambience, so that if it's a low light situation, it can self-adjust itself on the inside. Alright, now let's look at a few of the things that you get with this scope. You have vivid imaging. It records an HD video. It has a ballistics calculator. Okay, you can set this scope up if you put it on a particular type of gun, if you know the twist, your barrel length, your bullet weight, and your caliber, and you enter that into the scope, and the scope will adjust ballistically to adjust for range, because it has a built-in digital rangefinder that if you set it up, and you can actually go in and you know the target's distance and just go down and click to that, and the scope will self-zero pretty doggone close. I would feel that up to 300 yards the scope would be reliable to allow that ballistics calculator to self-adjust the scope to keep you on target to take game. Dual streaming video. This is what's kind of cool. When you're looking through the scope, you're watching a video. You're not watching, you can't see through the scope if it's turned off. It's like watching TV. But you can also link this to your cellular device, or to a laptop, or even like an iPad, and you can see everything that's going on through the scope, the same as is the person looking through the scope. So if you're got a hunting buddy with you, he can actually be watching the same thing you're seeing on the scope. It's pretty neat. It has a recoil activated video system, or a RAV. That means that you set that, and if you pull the trigger on the gun and shoot the gun, that it will record, I think it's the first 5 seconds before and the next 10 seconds after. It has a smart rangefinder. That rangefinder is very accurate, and at 300 yards it was off by about 7 inches. So that's pretty good. It has a built-in compass. It has dual-core processor, so that means it's fast. There's no lag, and you can share directly. This is something cool you can also do. Any social media site that you can live stream to, you can use your cellular device. You can literally be going live stream through your scope onto the social media platform. Pretty neat. Has a one-shot zero. Now this has a true one-shot zero, and has a profile manager. Now the profile manager means that you can literally set this scope up to have different guns pre-entered into it, and that is a pretty cool feature. Now let's look at a few things that you get with the scope when you order it. There you can see it's got a lot of information. This lid folded back a little bit so it's got better lighting. It's got a lot of information on there talking about the different stuff you get with the scope, with the IR light that comes with the scope, different ways of mounting it, different things you can get for it. But there's still several things that come with the scope that are in the box. This is one of the flexible glare covers that goes on the shooter's end of the scope. And you also have another glare adapter that you can put on the front. It's about 3 inches long, that'll go on the barrel end of the scope. That's to give you a little bit of help with the glare if there's any kind of bright sunlight or that you're looking into or something like that. And that'll help you a whole lot on long range shooting, a whole bunch. Now it comes with 2 different mounts. It comes with a mount that I'm using on my shotgun that it's mounted on. It comes with a mount like this. That is a quick detach mount that you just flip it open and it comes right off your Picatinny, and then when you put it back on, it's kind of hard to work it one-handed, so I'm just kind of generally showing you how it works here. You just flip that back up and you'll close it back like that, and it locks right back on your Picatinny. It has one on each end. Okay, this is the IR light that comes with it, and the adjustable mount. This mount is actually adjustable. When it's loosened, this mount that this is in will actually rotate a little bit, so you can move the alignment of the light. It's battery powered. It runs off 2 of the J123 batteries. If you're going to put this thing on your AR and you're going to be using it to shoot coyotes at night, I'd want something with a little bit more power, but that's just me. Anyway, okay, now other things you get a couple of different kinds of cables. You actually get a long charging cable and this little flat short cable for charging, and you also get another 32 gig card and a card reader adapter where you can plug it into your laptop or your computer and read off what's on the card, and that's that little deal right there, and the extra card is inside of it. And this is another mount that comes with it. You get this little piece of pamphlet right here. Is as useless a thing as you're ever going to get. There's not one single word in this thing that isn't in Chinese. That blew me away when I got it out, because what this is for is they send an awesome power pack made by my corporation in China. It's a 10,000 AH or charging unit that's made. You can charge your cell phone or you can charge the scope. Anything that's got a USB port that can be charged, you can charge this with this thing. But there was absolutely zero information in this pamphlet that came with it that was useful, and this is the only pamphlet you get. Okay, you get a quick start guide. This is very, very, very helpful. It'll help you what you need to do, the basics, tell you the things to set the scope up, everything about getting it started, and just a brief run through on everything and how to get it mounted and what to do, and so on and so forth. Now there is a second booklet that comes with it that is much more in depth. This is the actual owner's manual, so it tells you a lot of stuff about the scope, how you can do different things with the scope, how you can calibrate it. Of course, now there was a lot of different stuff that you can get for this scope, and Optics Planet does carry pretty much all of it. Now, when I bought the scope, there was some things that I had to do that were before I could even use the scope that I thought was kind of inconvenient, but they tell you about it as soon as you open the box. If you look, the very first line right there, it says important firmware update. Okay, as soon as you get the scope, you have to plug this scope up to a computer and download the new firmware. Now let's take a look at the scope itself, and I'll give you a rundown of kind of where everything's at. Okay, the ATN X Sight 4K Pro. They give you this neat little neoprene zip-up bag that will go over the scope. Sorry, it's a little bit hard to take off one-handed. Pretty neat little bag. The whole scope will fit down in it. It does zip up. It's got a pocket inside that that's Velcroed. I actually keep my lens cleaning cloth that come with it in there. You can see there's a white cable running to it right now. That's the charging port right there. It's a USB port. It has one of the little waterproof caps you put over it when you're not charging so that no moisture can get inside of it. Right next to that is another one of those little ports, and you open that little rubber seal, and inside of that is where your memory card is. Now, I haven't had a problem with this. I've done a lot of reading about this scope when I bought it, and everybody says you have to be careful when you put your card in, because it can go underneath the slot and then it'll fall down in the scope and it's really hard to get back out. I haven't had that issue. I don't, maybe it was something with some of the first ones they made and they corrected it, but I've had my card in and out a couple times and I've never had any problem. But to be honest, I don't see a need why that you'll need to take your card out, and I'll explain why in a minute when I talk to you briefly about downloading your photos or your film footage from your scope. Now you have two, like I said, two adjustable focal points. Here's one. This will adjust what you see on the screen. Okay. Then up here is another focal point with this big knob sticking up that you can adjust that, and that is what the camera sees. Okay, you're focusing the camera picture and how you see it back here. So you got two different focal points. It makes it to where you can make the video and what you're seeing very crisp, very, very clear. And it's really helpful when you're using the night scope, because a lot of times if there's a lot of mist in the air, stuff like that, it will cause the feedback of the picture for the night vision to be a little slower, and you can adjust this for the glare for that and get a lot of that. You can filter out a lot of that information that you don't want the camera to see, and makes your picture a lot clearer. Now on the other side of the scope, right over here, this knob, this is what adjusts the zoom. You have a 5 to 20 power. It'll go down as low as 5 power. It'll go as high as 20 power. Now the mount that's on it, if you notice, it's right now on the shotgun, I've just got it put on 2 Picatinny mount feet. This one is just a standard mount, just a regular Picatinny rail mount, and that's what this mount here that comes with it is. It has a additional Picatinny rail on both sides. There's one here, and then there's one here. If you wanted to, you could put 2 lights on the scope. You could put a light for IR and a regular white light, so if you needed something just to see through without using the IR. This scope's heavy. You'd be amazed how heavy the scope is, but it's because of all the electronics that's pushed into this little bitty package. There's a ton of stuff in there, and it makes heavy. This gun right now, this double barrel shotgun I've got it on that I'm going to be turkey hunting with that scope, I haven't weighed it, but I know it has to be over 10 pounds. It's heavy. It's pretty heavy. But the functionability of this scope, it's well worth it. I mean, it's really something neat to have, and you can have a lot of fun with this, or it's very useful, especially like if you like to predator hunt after coyotes or bobcats, stuff that you can kill at night. You can do this without your neighbors calling and saying, hey, there's somebody over there spotlighting, because you can see right through the scope without any light at all, just your IR light, which is invisible to human eye, and you can see everything that's going on, and you can watch. Like I said, you don't have to have your face stuck in the scope either. You can have the gun the scope pointed in the direction that you think animals are going to be coming, and have it zoomed all the way out, so you got a big picture, and watch it on your phone or watch it on your tablet. And then once you see an animal, then you can put your face back down on the scope and get down on the gun and make a shot. That is something that's really helpful. Now here's something else that's pretty neat that came with the scope. You get this neat little ATN bag that velcros around your stock. It's pretty nice. It has a back strap on the back here to keep the scope from going too far. But inside of this thing, unzip it, and inside of here is that big giant power pack that comes with it, that MI power pack. That thing is huge. There's even more pockets inside of it for ammo. There's a pocket on the outside here for more ammo. Apparently they think people are going to miss a lot, I guess. There's a couple of little pockets in there you can put stuff. But it's a pretty neat little outfit. Now one thing about it was, though, that this was to go on the stock of your rifle. And so that you could charge, just run a cable up to your scope, like I've got now, just run a cable up to your scope and charge your scope. But there was no way to come out of the bag without unzipping it and coming up this way and doing that and all that stuff. So I cut me a little hole right here that my cable will go through, so that I can zip this up, and if I want, I can leave this plugged up to the scope while I'm hunting with it. It'll come on and function and do everything it's supposed to, just like that with it hooked up. But for some reason, they didn't put a hole in this. I would have thought they would put a little port for your cable to come out, but they didn't. So old fat man took his knife and he made a port. Okay, I'm going to now turn the scope on and give you a look down the barrel of the rifle, down the scope, and so you can see how it looks when it's turned on, what your view would be when you're looking at it. There's how it looks when you look down the barrel. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that screen. I don't know exactly how well it's going to focus, but you can see there's a lot of different things on the screen there. Your compass setting, there's actually a degree angle of the gun, shows you if you've got the gun tilted or not, which we've got it tilted pretty bad right now, and shows your reticle. Hope you can see that. It's hard to do it this way. I'm just trying to give you an idea of what it'd be like when you look down the barrel. I've not got it pointed at anything in particular so that you can see, because I'm in the house and everything's going to be too close to focus. Now here comes the bad part of owning one of these scopes. They're not cheap. This scope was with the package that I got from Optics Planet, right around $900. But you get a lot with it. I mean, this scope it's very, very versatile. It's very user friendly. It's got a lot of great applications, and it's something that a lot of hunters can use, because a lot of times guys worry about where their shot placement was, especially if you're deer hunting or elk hunting or something like that. And you could shoot an animal and right there in the field replay the video that you just shot of shooting that animal. Look at your shot placement on that animal and know if you made a good shot or not. And that's a very helpful tool. That's a very, very useful thing to have. You're much better off to buy a good optic when you start. And if you're looking for a good night vision scope, that's an IR scope, this is, for the money, well worth what you pay for it. Well worth it. In my opinion, it's worth it. If you like to do stuff like this, it's worth it. But again, it'll be up to the shooter whether or not they want to spend that kind of money. But if you need to save up to do it, it's well worth it. I think if you do it, you'll thank yourself for doing it, because it's really, really neat thing to have. But guys, I just wanted to show you real quick what I thought about the ATN and what comes with it, and I really like it. It's a really neat outfit. It is heavy. It's heavy both ways, on your back and on your wallet. It's heavy, but it's fun. I wouldn't take my money back for it. It's really a neat little thing to have, and I like mine. But guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Sorry I kept you as long as I did, but I like showing you stuff like this. But guys, I appreciate y'all watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one. This is the Fat Man, and I'm gone. Hey guys, if you liked the video, hit subscribe. Don't forget to click that bell so you get notifications the next time we put out a video. Appreciate you. It's the Fat Man. I'm gone.